Hello everybody, welcome back on iKeysRacing, my channel, your channel. Today a different video, I must admit and start to say so, because no racing involved here, not directly, but it's content I did want to have sooner than later, but between free time, my daily job, etc., I didn't succeed on it. But at least I had the opportunity to stretch in a sort of longer way the period of testing, trying, playing, racing, etc. with the equipment you have seen maybe in some videos starting from mid-February, so 1 month full, 1 month and a half more or less, and having a bit of experience more with this, I think can bring me to draw a conclusion, at least as a personal, completely, entirely personal experience, opinion, idea, whatever. So I will change the camera. We will start from what is the set of boxes on the screen that you have maybe already seen on the cover of the video. That is a complete and total purchase via the Thrustmaster official Italian website. Overall, I must say I'm still more than happy for this beautiful purchase I did. That is, I think, one of the best gifts I purchased for myself in the last 10 years, more or less. If I exclude guitars, keyboards, computers, or anyway stuff to produce content, this set of devices is not directly maybe a set of devices to produce content, but it is more for my pleasure, my feelings, my sensations, than for actively contributing to make quicker content or to, I don't know, transform a draft into a complete song, for example. Or if I think about photography, I mean, it is not a new camera that will allow me to shoot best and better pictures. It is more something related to the feeling that as a race driver virtually you can have when you play video games about racing. I would say so it is a complete personal opinion, but a partial opinion on what you can achieve with a set of steering wheels, pedals, and things related to the couple of main things nowadays you can purchase if you decide to step up, like I tried to do, from a basic set of things to transform your movements and your feelings into something else. So I changed the camera and we go to watch this quick video I've prepared for the sake of the presentation of today, if it is considerable as a presentation. So see you in a minute in the other way. So back where it all started, with the arrival of 4 boxes, quite huge. I mean, they are tall like me. I am 1 meter 85 centimeters. They are tall 160 once you put them one on top of each other. And so was surprising also from a looking point of view to receive a sort of late Christmas at my address. But then obviously it's inside where my interest is. So starting with the brief presentation, we had basically the T-LCM set of pedals with the load cell magnetic technology by Thrustmaster. The base, it was the important thing, compatible with computer and PlayStation 3 and 4. I own a PS2, but I will purchase very soon a PS4 for Gran Turismo. A pedal stand, because I didn't want to buy a complete racing gear rig. The sequential knob that substitutes this one, originally present in the TH8 previously purchased, and 2 steering wheels. The first one is the 28 centimeter rounded and the Openwheel, compatible with formulas and with, I don't know, prototypes of modern era and so on. So that was the main thing. Then my first issue, if you like, has arrived when I tried to find the way to build this final version of the pedal stands, because issue number one, instructions were absolutely well made, but counting what was the level of contents for this type of screw, handle, whatever, I don't know the technical name, sorry, I'm not English mother tongue, but this screw should have been a set of 4 screws like this. They basically block the 2 black bars that let you mount set of pedals on the structure, on top of the structure. They were just 3. So my first question mark was, but do I have just 3 screws, because is it a return to vendor from a previous customer? Is it a quality control problem issue by Thrustmaster that didn't put inside all the 4 knobs, screws, as you prefer? I will never know an answer. The fact was, I've been lucky to have previously experiences mounting IKEA furnitures, purchasing previously stuff to produce the videos you usually see on our channel, and so I had a spare 4th similar screw that was not the same compared to the rest of the set of 3, so it has the same size of the screw, a different shape of the handle, can I call it this way, whatever, because it was included into a previous arm to sustain microphones and lights in my little studio. So yes, I had 3 original and 1 reused coming from a different device. So first issue, because if it wasn't for my previous ownership of this type of screw, I would have been screwed up, because with just 3 single units you cannot entirely block set of pedals with their base on the stand, and so then you have to run into a Leroy Merlin or whatever type of commercial chain available around, find out the same size of screw, hopefully with a handy coverage to be then attached and detached every time you need it. Hopefully you just attach them and block them once forever. Sometimes maybe not, you don't know. So at the end they had the same size, and I've been lucky enough to have the possibility to finish to mount the structure, just losing, I don't know, 4 bits of I don't know what, but the structure is absolutely solid, well made, exactly what I was expecting to have from a structure, force, sustain point of view, and also inclination and let's say ergonomic expectation I had. Let's go forward with the steering wheels. You can hear a nice sound of all the buttons. Pedals, they are solid, they are well made. To me, it doesn't matter if there isn't a Porsche or Ferrari logo here. It is a solution more than perfect, also from a number of buttons available, from a sort of brake balance management here, and to me they are absolutely more than enough. With the same circuit available, also the other model, the Openwheel one, is more or less the same, just the shape is different, and also the materials, because sorry, you can hear the maybe yes. So with the same circuit, also on this electrical circuit, on this steering wheel, you have a total of 6 buttons at the front. A 7th is the one you press as a sort of knob selector, and then it has a neutral position and a left position and a right position. More than enough to manage an LCD screen on a car, brake balance, headlights, neutral, reverse gear if I do not use the TH8 sequential or H pattern gear, and call to have a pit stop and pit limiter for the speed. The same electrical circuit is a carbon copy on the other steering wheel, so really to me is more than enough. Materials, here you had leather, well, let's say fake leather to respect animals. Absolutely, I would say also from a style point of view, exactly what I was expecting from an old GT type steering wheel. The other option costs 400 euros and it is made in wood, having a Ferrari logo because Thrustmaster produces the Ferrari GTO original steering wheel of the 50s, 60s. That to me maybe will be a future purchase, I don't know. But anyway, both of them are more than enough for my needs. That's absolutely a point. Here we don't have leather, but just Alcantara material. So again, something that you can find on real race cars or at least daily driven cars. Let's go ahead. So just positive points. The weight is more than enough. Consider that Thrustmaster uses to have small devices, light devices, and not over force the electrical motor inside the base. So it's a sort of ratio power weight to be in some way controlled and managed by the software and then the hardware material you have in your hands. As said, the base was more than enough for myself because not only compatible with PlayStation 3 and 4, but also obviously with computers, personal computers, Windows, and the TGT2 Mark II edition is the same they are selling with a specific Gran Turismo steering wheel already mounted in the kit. This is the top of the range of Thrustmaster, unless you purchase the new direct drive that doesn't cost 500 euros, 499, but is around 800 if I'm not wrong nowadays when I'm recording this video. So please consider that this video has been registered with my purchase at the beginning of February 2023, and it's the 1st of April, and it's not an April Fool. I've not checked prices this morning, but this is the current, let's say, level of prices you can get from Thrustmaster nowadays. Anyway, let's go on. I set compatibility because I want to purchase also the PS4 by the end of this year because I liked the idea of purchasing old stuff as soon as it becomes old. The base itself has a Gran Turismo selector or any other game on the left, two added buttons for multiple function on the right. But I want to say, remember to leave free this area and this area once you start to play, because the refreshment of the device is calibrated to be with a sort of forced loop of the air between the real grid and the one present on the right side. Here we are seeing what is the back of the base, where you can find a USB port, AB model, that is the standard for the USB. Where you find my thumb, it is the plug for the power adapter. Then you have the plug with my finger indicated, where you can plug in the gear shift TH8, and on top of it there is a similar telephone plug, but they are the two positions, the two locations to plug not only the gear shifter but also the set of pedals. So if you are short of USB ports in your computer, you can keep the base TGT Mark II as the main hub, connect the gear shift and the set of pedals, and with just one port, and so let's say one joystick recognized, you can also configure old games coming older than 20-25 years ago. So not a bad choice, but I will tell you in a moment, you lose a bit of definition, meaning that the pedal board placed here gives a 12-bit resolution of reading the movements of your pedals. If you use instead the USB main cable for the set of pedals, you get a 16-bit definition while accelerating, braking and using the clutch. Despite Thrustmaster producing a beautiful software, absolutely helpful, easy to use, very handy, for example, I would say with all the modern games that accept more than 2 joysticks, joystick 1 basically becomes the base with the steering wheel, joystick number 2 the set of pedals, joystick number 3 the gear shifter, if you don't plug them here. And they are recognized by GT Legends, GTR 1 and 2, Power and Glory, modern titles like I can suppose Assetto Corsa, with Automobilista being capable to use it split into 3 independent joystick, The Long Road, Euro Truck Simulator 2. I mean, all the modern titles work very well without having to use the base as a main hub. But, for example, Formula 1 Challenge has instead the need to be forced to recognize just 2 joysticks. So you can choose to plug the gear shift here or the set of pedals here, one of the 2. I would suggest, if it works on your computer, to plug here the gear shift and use anyway via USB the set of pedals, because moving from USB directly connected 16-bit reading versus going down to 12-bit resolution changes the way you brake. And to make it simple, if I connect the set of pedals directly via USB, I feel I can brake much better than with the set of pedals plugged here used via 12-bit. Because to me, the braking action sounds more precise and more flexible via 16-bit instead of 12. With 12, with F1 Challenge for example, I feel that whatever the ear used, whatever the category, whatever the car, if I want to stop the car, I more or less must always push the brake to the floor. Instead the car doesn't brake in a sort of progressive way. Instead with 16 bits I find it very progressive. That's maybe just a matter to change the springs, change the software behavior, whatever. What I can say is, out of the box, this is the main feeling, okay? So, anyway, remember that if you are short of USB ports, remember that Thrustmaster did think about everything from this point of view. So even if you have one USB port available, you can connect all the set. So that's it. Just remember also to give a bit of space to allow the base to breathe, absolutely mandatory to avoid overheating. Very silent, very beautiful made. Let's start with the bad thing. This device to block the base is not sufficient. If you, like me, own an IKEA very width desk and you try to attach the base here with this silly method, will be not enough. Just to say that is ridiculous that for 500 euros cost of the base you get the clamp, the whatever, the device to block the base exactly cheap like any other Thrustmaster purchase, or at least the cheapest Thrustmaster set of pedals and steering wheels have this one, because I had this one since 2004 or 2005 when a friend of mine did gift me the Thrustmaster Force Racing whatever. I will put an image here. So it's almost 20 years that Thrustmaster does not offer, for what I know, a different way to block base for steering wheels if you try to block them on thick desks made with thick base, horizontal base. It works much better on thin desks, or if you avoid this silly clamp and if you basically screw the base into a racing rig or into a structure that you can build by yourself. The rest of the content was, apart from the silly clamp, the cable for the power, the electrical power, Sciucco version, in Italy we use adapters. Some bits of screws and plates to fix the base into a racing rig or whatever. A stupid, silly USB cable that looks very cool, but it isn't, and we will see it in a second. And at the end, I think the best part of everything, apart from the base, that is the power adapter, made in the shape of a turbo device for a modern petrol engine or whatever, or diesel engine. Absolutely a lovely touch from Thrustmaster and from the designer that decided this particular shape. I love it, absolutely. So that's it, very heavy. And what else? You can mount and unmount a steering wheel in 30 seconds when you are when you did a bit of practice, 1 minute. I mean, I don't care about that posh people that says I need my steering wheel substituted in 1 second. If you like 1 second, okay. Instead, I get a coffee or a set of I don't know, French fries, and I can wait to screw and unscrew all plastic with plastic, so hopefully will last at least 1 year, maybe more. Change your steering wheel. With 2 hands you screw the big screw here around the defined part for the steering wheel, and at the end you have a little metal screw to again screw inside the mechanism, the closing procedure, and then that's it. I mean, with a normal screwdriver you do it, as said, in 30 seconds, 1 minute, because you drink a bit of water and then you play for many hours without the problem of losing the steering wheel. I must also add that nowadays Thrustmaster, because has launched the first direct drive base for steering wheels, in the Thrustmaster Cosmo there are adapters to make these steering wheels, like mine and not only, compatible with the quick lock system Thrustmaster adapted for the direct drive basement. So your choice. I mean, steering wheels will remain with you, maybe not the base, maybe you will spend 30 euros, if I'm not wrong, for each adapter to make all the steering wheels of the brand to work with the new direct drive base. Mine is not the direct drive because I didn't want a direct drive, because I've tried Moza and Fanatec, etc. solutions with direct drive into stores, into fairs, I've participated, etc. I don't like the feeling. I do prefer the semi-old feeling of the old technology made via chains, electric motors, doubled and blah blah blah. I'm not going to specify technically how they are made. I do prefer this way to make you feel what happens with your hands. If you like direct drive, go for direct drive, no problem. That being said, it's easy and to me comfortable, and honestly, I don't know, until the last loop, I mean, the steering wheel does not come away, so I don't see the problem of a different type of blocking mechanism or system or solution. That's it. And to me it's also quick. The knob, I have big hands, so the knob, maybe if you are less than 18-15 years old, could be a bit big for your hands, but whatever, very handy, absolutely. Let's start with the issues, because having spent, and I will show you also the bill, around 1,200 euros, I found some silly solutions by Thrustmaster. The first one is about providing cables not straight, let's say, with this particular shape, that are not, let's say, easy to be mounted and plugged, just because you don't see where you plug things. So it is almost mandatory to say you do it once, you do not do it a second time. So you have any way to maybe unmount, unplug the power supply, then you can plug the USB and you replug again the power supply. But there is a but always in all the good stories. At a part maybe finding the first time what is the right direction, because they have one way to be mounted. The cable, even if mounted, becomes stressed, because once you block the base, this cable, like every cable not let loose with their shape, with their nature, let's say, they become a problem, because you press now, you press tomorrow, you press the day after tomorrow, and believe me, a cable overstressed will break. So in my opinion, if you have a racing rig, you haven't the problem. If you use a desk with a flat floor, let's say, available, the measure made from this point of view and these provided silly cables are not thought for who has a normal desk, but just for who purchases a racing rig. If you had whatever platform, anyway, to attach what is the base, and the racing platform goes longer than the base, you will face anyway the same problem. The cable will be not plugged completely in the right way, and the cable itself will be stressed. So my suggestion is use a normal USB cable, and the suggestion to Thrustmaster, you can be a bit less cool and provide a normal USB cable, because again, I have a lot of things unused in my house. But if I was someone at the first purchase, I wouldn't be in the condition, and you will see it, to fix properly the base with the clamp provided, and to plug properly the device with the cable provided. You can see that also the space left of the plug inside the USB port is quite far here, and instead here it is exactly where it should be. The second thing is why I stress so much this concept, because if you use the clamp provided on a thick 5 centimeters desk of IKEA, a normal cheap one, I'm not talking about incredible and I don't know, expensive furniture designed by Giugiaro or Pininfarina. No, this is popular furniture every one of us can purchase at IKEA or from IKEA. If you use the clamp provided, you can force it as much as you want, the base will move and you cannot drive. It's like driving your daily road car with the regulator of the height of the steering wheel unlocked. It's the same thing. So this is a stupid, silly, full of ignorance or full of I don't care from Thrustmaster to not think to every possible solution that a customer can have, not because of me, because I will show you the picture. I have found anyway a way to block the base on my desk with the flexible possibility to mount and unmount all the racing gear and go on with my daily job. But it is silly that a 500 euros base cannot have at least a dedicated clamp structure, whatever, like Thrustmaster did with the direct drive, that offers not only at more than 800 euros the base, but you can purchase for 50 or 60 euros, whatever, a dedicated clamp or structure based to be fixed also with desks thick like this one, or like many other modern desks that are not anymore thin like this, but they are at least 4 or 5 centimeters thick. Very simple. Thrustmaster didn't think about it, and regardless of what you purchase, you have the cheapest way to block a base. Not only, I want to add another polemic Italian thing. Not everybody have the space to purchase a racing rig or to dedicate an area of the house to racing virtually and whatever. So another nice touch from Thrustmaster could have been choose aftermarket the type of clamp that you want to purchase for your needs. You save money on producing a cheap base, or at least for the top of the range of the base, given also the cost, maybe you can give a decent clamp or a decent device to block properly. Also because, differently from the previous equipment I had, this space is very short. So the level of physical position to in some way distribute the weight is not longer like in the past. You really have, 20 centimeters of width to play with what is the weight and the movements of this base. So really this is not the solution, absolutely. Another silly thing is the USB port or the similar telephone for the set of pedals, because if you don't have a racing rig or a Structor, you think, okay, I use the softest spring and I put this set of pedals on the floor. Wrong, because if you mount again their provided cables, they are taller than the Structor itself. So this cable, that is very cool because it is not the straight usual one, is just thought for who has a racing rig or at least a Structor like I purchased for the pedal stands. So really, again, for 250 euros of set of pedals, they should have used their thinking much better to make happy every type of customer, not just who purchases a racing rig. Also because instead, every time you brake, you stress the cable, sooner or later will happen to break the cable or also maybe break the plug. Then go to Thrustmaster to say, repair my USB port because your silly idea on cables. A straight cable could have been a partial solution. Also because I demonstrate you another thing. If you use a normal one, you cannot put on the floor what is the set of pedals, because a normal straight cable will clash with your wall, whatever you do. So the solution is, and I suggest it anyway, purchase the stand, place as much as possible the two black bars below the pedal stand close to the wall, so you have more space for your legs if you are tall like me, 1 meter 85 centimeters, and then you have a complete, let's say, solution, very handy. Also when I do my daily job, it is a very comfortable place for my feet to be comfortable in my chair, in my more than 8 hours a day job. Plus the materials, compared to the plastic version of this one, I do prefer the metal of the place where you put your feet and the metal regarding the pedals. So absolutely well made, and they do their job. Another suggestion would be, if you can, screw into something, another Structor, a bar, a weight, whatever, this part of the set of pedals. Why? I'm going to demonstrate this in a couple of seconds, and sorry for the green chroma key paper sheet I used, because thanks to Thrustmaster designers, engineers, etc., they said, okay, the Structor has a bit of space between the, what is this, the board of the wall in wood and the wall itself. But what? If you just use the Structor, when you brake, yes, it has rubber here to avoid to scratch your wall, but at the end, when you brake very hard, if you don't block the Structor, it isn't absolutely something that you can in some way, I would say, find as a intelligent, solution, because every house has a different type of board for the connection between the wall and the floor. So my idea is very simple. Dear Thrustmaster, why don't you provide, a spacer here to be a sort of, something that comes out and helps effectively the Structor to not jump on itself, or rotate, would have been enough. Or taking, like I did, two rubbers coming from my old time in school and put between this Structor and what is the wall, so at least it is blocked. And as said, I had to stop and block also with these holes and relative screws to be purchased from a store, or if you have them at home, to avoid the movement of the structure. So the structure itself, not blocked into something else, is useless, apart from avoiding to kill the cables like I did show 2 minutes ago. For the rest, I would say yes, a solution is placing something between this free part and the rest of the structure compared to your wall. And as said, I have really short boards in wood down to the floor, but there are so many solutions around that a company like Thrustmaster should have thought a different solution, because you must make every customer happy, regardless of what is the amount of money they spend. They all deserve the same good treatment. At least this is what my companies did teach me, and I do a commercial job between electrics, web e-commerce, video games, etc. since 2001. So at least I can say I know what a company does mean talking about what is customer satisfaction and out of the box, completely working solution purchased. Also because when you spend a bit of money on things, I must say, sorry for hiding my personal information, but a company big like this that makes you pay, rounded up, 500 euros for a base, 250 for a set of pedals, well made, 200 for a steering wheel, 150 for another steering wheel, 70 for a pedal stand, and 30 euros for a different knob. What I mean is, the total of this is 500, 750, 950, 1100, 1170, 1200, and if you add the H pattern I owned previously, 150 euros again, we are around 1300 in excess euros. And I must say, the servo base didn't have a decent blocking system, and even aftermarket it is not offered so far. The pedals, 250 with silly USB cables, the same for the servo base. And I would say, how much can cost a USB normal cable? 1 euro, 2 euros, 3 euros. For sure, a normal USB straight cable costs less than the silly designed one provided. So again, they could have thought differently. Nothing to say about the steering wheels. The pedal stand, as said, maybe was a previous return to vendor from a previous customer, or a problem with quality issue because there were just 3 screws instead of 4 to block the black bars on top of which you mount your set of pedals. So honestly, I'm more than happy from an experience point of view, because it's beautiful to play with a modern rig, it's beautiful to feel a different sensation, a different feeling, a different feedback, because you literally have the car under your hands. This is the main difference compared to the driving GT Force Logitech or the previous Thrustmaster year 2003-2004, previously gifted luckily to myself from a friend. But if I spend this amount of money, it is not, let's say, a cheap investment. And I also must add, this is a sort of limit that you can have from a normal point of view nowadays, because from 1,500 euros, 2,000 euros, you start to purchase things like Fanatec, Mozza, Usingveld, but sometimes more than 1,000 euros is the average price for a modern device. So Thrustmaster is very convenient, like it is Logitech, but I do not believe that these silly things like missing screws, bad type of USB cable, not thinking to whatever is the different type of customers, etc. I mean, they could have arranged and addressed things differently. So overall, I can only say it's absolutely a pleasure to play games nowadays, thanks to what is the current, let's say, availability on the market. I do think, honestly, it is a different way of playing games. I would not go back to what was the previous set of steering wheel and pedals I had, but given the amount of money spent, I would have expected everything thought to be perfectly working out of the box, because I'm lucky. I have a lot of stuff at home previously owned for different reasons, and I adapted what I could to have a final and definitive solution to play video games for hours and hours and hours without any issue. But it's also true that without a spare screw, without a set of rubbers, without a set of I don't know, different tools at home, maybe I would have not been in the condition to play and enjoy straight out of the box what is and what was my original idea. So I purchase something, I plug it, I fix it, I configure it, and I start to race. Because I'm not an expert, I'm not an engineer, I'm not a designer, I'm not an electrician, I mean, I just can tell you that the experience does worth the price. The silly things we're not expecting, in my opinion, coming from a big name like Thrustmaster, or if it was Logitech or whatever. Maybe one day we'll move to direct drive, maybe not. Maybe will I purchase an old style steering wheel to perfectly theme what is the type of steering wheel you see in my videos? Maybe yes. I will change Thrustmaster for Logitech, for Fanatec, for using Welt. I don't know, because I think that every step above this amount of money spent and above this solution, complete solution, it is something that will require anyway a dedicated racing rig. That is not what I want for my house, because anyway I like to detach, unplug everything, put everything into a furniture design box, and have a clean area where to work 10 hours per day, and when I decide to play I just mount and unmount what I need very easily. I will show you the picture of the solution found at the end to properly block the set of pedals and the base. It is very raw, if you like. It is very almost made in Italy style from a garage, but did give a bit of enjoyment to myself to do a sort of do-it-yourself that I like very much in general in my life, for furnitures, racing gears, lights, photography, whatever. So what else to say? I hope it has been a decently well explained way to intend how I consider spend money for a hobby and what I get from that expenses. Then, if it will become something changeable or not in the near future, I don't know. So far, absolutely happy from the experience, absolutely happy from the feeling while you drive. You feel the car, you can configure things in many ways from this point of view, using the base as a hub or splitting into 3 different joysticks, base, steering wheel, set of pedals, and the TH8 shift gear. Absolutely fantastic. I've been lucky to be in the possibility to spend this amount of money, and I feel it is more than enough for what I need. But again, given that is almost an average monthly wage for a normal Italian worker, 1,350 euros ish, I would have expected more respect from Thrustmaster for every possible situation, condition of placing their stuff, their devices into every type of house, corner or solution, because we are not all the same, we are not living in the same houses, we are not all having the possibility to have the space for a complete and definitive racing rig. I mean, there are many solutions nowadays around that with a bit of thinking could have been already in place without making myself or someone like you maybe thinking and rethinking how to solve problems caused by the manufacturer that didn't think to every possible type of customer. Sorry to sound maybe harsh, maybe hard, maybe rude, maybe raw, but honestly, I do think that every customer, whatever the price he or she spends, must be treated equally. This is what I've been taught from both the companies I've worked with in the last 22 years, is what for sure Apple does with every customer, and the big names out there are very keen to be in the condition to consider every happy customer. Or at least this is my thinking, and I will never change it, because I work every day making customers happy, because the happiness of a customer, it is then translated into the success of your company and so of your job. So that's it for the moment. Sorry to sound maybe a bit Italian, polemic, mafia style and blaming and blah blah blah, but despite I do love do-it-yourself works made at home, despite I love problems because every problem brings then a solution, despite all of this, honestly, I am satisfied 90% from the experience of purchasing via Thrustmaster Italian official shop. Disappointed by a 10% by the silliness behind designers and engineers and people that should always think 360 degrees and not just what the market say, what the boss says, what the whatever. Always think to make your customers happy 100%, if not more. So that's it from my side. Best wishes to you all. Stay very well. Thank you very much for watching. Arigato. Merci beaucoup. Muchas gracias. And if you want to write down comments, opinions, I don't know, ideas, different solution you did purchasing the same stuff, feel free to do it. You are more than welcome. And as I like to say, this is our channel. I'm just the guy behind the camera. So your experience will be absolutely more than appreciated, more than welcome on iKeysRacing channel. From Marco, from Monza, ciao, thank you very much, see you very soon in the next video, and I hope you have found this personal experience absolutely enjoyable. I have avoided to show you how I drive nowadays because you can see it into every new video that I produce and publish recently, so it will be a continuous learning also of the devices published here, but I had in my mind the idea to say, what if another customer like me will encounter these issues, silly issues, but they do not allow you to play and enjoy these devices out of the box. You had to find solutions to solve someone else's problem caused. And so that's it. See you very soon on iKeysRacing. Ciao, stay very well. And so, like recently I like to say, it's beautiful to be into keen racing, so stay keen, stay racing, stay IKR. Ciao, thank you very much, bye bye, stay very well, good luck, best wishes to you all. Ciao, bye bye.